Another verse from Timothy. For the love of money is the root of
Root
all
of
kinds of evil.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet it is.
So how did you go about this? How did you start the first biblically responsible investment fund?
Well, we've had miracle after miracle, Kevin, and I mean, they hounded me for years to put this all down in a book, and I don't like to write, so I kept putting them off. But in the beginning, I'm a certified financial planner, I'm a former CPA. I knew how to do pro formas. So I did a pro forma. I said, look, if we're going to do this, you got to count your costs before you build the barn. How much do I have to raise? Because it's a very expensive operation to do this.
Absolutely.
I did a great pro forma, and it told me I had to raise $1 million. So I actually wrote the prospectus, the offering document, and made a list of my friends, about 50 of them, solid Christians who could easily write a check for $50,000 to become a partner and not even miss it.
Yeah.
You know how many invested? 3.
Wow. Okay.
That's my first lesson. That's when I knew God knew who he'd want in this thing. I only thought I knew.
Yeah.
And over the next 6 months, he led me to people I had no way of knowing. And we did accumulate the $1 million and launch the fund.
And that was the beginning.
That was in April of 1994.
But it wasn't easy.
Oh, it was anything but easy.
Yeah, in fact, there weren't, in 1994, I was working for Templeton.
Yes.
And it was a big multi-billion-dollar. I couldn't think of, there weren't any biblically responsible funds. I mean, we would screen out at Templeton, we screened out alcohol, tobacco, and pornography. Mm-hmm. But you'd have to meet a certain threshold of the percentage of the business. We'd screen them out, but nothing that really tried to align investments with values beyond that.
Well, there was a whole industry prior to us that did social screening, they call it, and it's like social justice today.
Right.
They screen for things like the environment, used to be South Africa and all these things.
Right.
But nobody addressed the biblical issues like abortion, pornography, non-traditional married lifestyles.
Now that's changed though. There's a whole, Kingdom Advisors has a whole segment that focuses on this, and you started a group of advisors that...
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
That also help people line their investments with their values.
Well, as we were launching Timothy and, talking to financial advisors all over the country and uncovering those that were solid Christian guys, it occurred that we have a problem. We don't know who each other are.
Yeah.
And if you don't stand together, you're going to fall.
Right.
So we did create the National Association of Christian Financial Consultants.
I've had the opportunity to speak to that group.
You have.
A phenomenal group. And you recently added to your mutual funds, you added exchange-traded funds. Why'd you do that?
Well, again, all these advisors, and we have about, 6,000 or 7,000 of them all over the country.
Wow.
They kept hammering me to get into the exchange-traded fund arena. And I kept, I don't
Define
move
that
fast.
for us. What is an exchange-traded fund?
Well, it's a form of a mutual fund, and it's not. It trades like a stock, and we trade on the New York Stock Exchange. The majority of them are index funds, so they do provide a lower administrative cost because you're not paying a money manager and all these other requirements. And they trade daily, just like General Motors or IBM on the New York Stock Exchange. And we have 2 out there that we launched this past May, a large cap core and a high dividend stock fund. And those 2 have been a major hit for us.
So I can go now onto any of the platforms, Ameritrade, E-Trade, whatever, and I can point, click, buy in my brokerage account, and I can have biblically responsible investing. That's a whole lot easier than filling out all of the forms. And
all the requirements for a mutual fund.
Yeah.
But in a mutual fund, you get to diversify even more because we have 13 funds now.